Hi everyone.
Evening all. Good to have you on tonight on this not very windy. Last time I was here it was really windy.
Oh,
It's
it's
just
windy.
so quiet now. Just nice.
Let's hope it doesn't hit like it did last night when it just...
Yeah, it hit all of a sudden. That's right. Obviously I've got my face out first thing this time round.
Yeah.
With us two on. I had the Goliath suit on, but
It's still in the boot of my car. I just had a thought.
should have put it on.
Should have brought it
Goliath version 2.
Still got the Nerf guns too. We didn't bring those.
Didn't
they
work.
are in the car.
It didn't work. I don't know whether you realised or not, but I didn't even hit the target. So, no, what else can I throw at it, I guess? I don't know. Maybe my phone or something. That might work. No, definitely not.
Hey Laura, how's it going? Good evening everyone. I think I need to get my eyes checked. I am super struggling. You might have to all write in caps lock to me tonight so I can see. Hey Matt, hey Pete. Ooh, yeah, they're on. I just can't see the little photos. Somebody say hello to us, and I can see how my reading eyes are going. Yeah, it's good.
It's good. It's good. I'm wobbling it around for no reason.
Hey Jackie, good evening to you.
Hey Mum, great to have you on, Mum. Hope you spent a good day in Smithton, in Smith Street.
Mrs. Smith.
Mrs. Smith. It's been good.
Cool. So we are on tonight to have a chat with you all about kids again.
Yes.
Looks like no comments are showing up for us tonight, which is a little bit frustrating.
That's us.
Up to?
I don't know.
We're just going to leave it as is. We can see people.
Hey!
Oh, look. Oh, yay! Hi everyone. Hi, Rach.
No.
Don't do anything now. Leave it.
Okay.
Woo. Good. It's working.
Woo!
We can see what you're saying because we know you've all got much to say to us.
Oh yes, definitely.
But yeah, so we are just back for round 2 to chat about kids. So please, if you have any hot topic questions around kids, around parenting, we're going to sit here and pretend to be really knowledgeable and mature and...
Well, Karen and Matt talked the other week about wisdom and how grey hair could be possibly part of that. And I can tell you what, I had a haircut the other day. There were a lot of greys falling off. Pretty crazy.
I pulled a few out myself. You know what? I feel like it's because I'm nearing that big 3-0 that now they're just going to come thick and fast.
30. Wow. Yes, anyway, so send through the questions. Well, I mean, we've got a few things that we can chat about, and I've got questions about already, but
Jesse.
Live questions are just as fun.
Yes.
On the spot questions are just as fun.
Isaac's really good at this like under pressure stuff, aren't you, honey?
Well, it's almost as if I do this every day. It's almost like I answer 600 questions a day off the cuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, cool. So I think maybe we actually didn't even say, for those of you who may not know us or have just tuned in, my name is Kathryn and this is Isaac, and we are the kids and family pastors here at Abundant Life, which is a super fun gig. We work with an amazing team of staff here at Abundant. We're super blessed to work with family, it feels. So that's really cool, and we love that we get to head up the kids space and look after all of our parents as well. So we might just kick off with a question, Isaac, and we'll just do our best to answer really well.
Yeah, absolutely. So keep on sending those questions through, and we'll try and watch those. I think we're getting a bit better with seeing them come up as we answer questions ourselves. But first question is, how can we encourage a heart for worship in our kids?
Do tell us, Isaac. How can we?
On the spot. Well, I mean, I guess there's way. I mean, we could talk about worship. Thinking of just praise and worship. But I think it's actually, much more than that. I think it's more of worship's a lifestyle. It's not just something that we do, but it's something that we are.
Yes.
And so kids, our own kids, definitely, they see us all the time. They see us in the good and the bad, and how we model in those tough times, just like we read in the Bible, when Jonah's down in the dumps in the tough times, or when David, in his Psalms, and he's just crying out to God. The fact that he's actually crying out to God is a pretty good sign of where he knows where to go when he's struggling. So I think when our kids actually see that, when the kids actually see mum or dad or mum and dad together, maybe praying together, or maybe just putting on some Christian worship because, the kids have been screaming for most of the afternoon, and just knowing that that's where we need to go. We need to draw near to God in those times, and just modelling that in everyday life. So I think that's how we could encourage. Have you got an answer on that one?
Yeah, I think our kids really enjoy listening to worship music in the car.
Yes.
We talked in our last Facebook Live about how can we be encouraging our kids to be involved in it during the service a bit. And so we talked a bit about chatting to them about our expectations and encouraging them to stand and be involved and reading along when they're capable of doing so to the lyrics on the screen as well. But I think of our own kids. I think of our middle child, Finley. He's 5. He is more than happy to comply in church, and he does sit and he pays attention and he's sort of just taking in what's happening around him, but he's also very shy in that kind of setting, and he doesn't often actually sing or really step into that space. But you get him in the car with worship music on and he's singing along and he loves it, and he goes, "Mum, put that on again," or "No, I want to listen to Echo," or "No, I want to..." And he just loves it. And then the same with prayer, I guess, similarly as well. Like he may seem a little disengaged publicly because his personality is to shy away from attention, but you put him at the dinner table and our dinner is cold by the time we get to eat after his grace. Like, he's either deep in thought or he just doesn't know what he's about to say next. His prayers are super cute. And so we love it. But I love that he actually still has this relationship with his God, and it is actually really private. It is really intimate. It's not a showy thing. No. We are not asking our kids to stand up there and say, "Quick, put your arms up, everyone will see," and then you'll look like a real Christian because you're worshipping. That is not the heart of God. But God looks into our little people and sees their humility and loves it. And so I think if we can be encouraging that in whatever way that our little people's personality are needing, if that is worshipping with Dad in the car, or if that is worshipping with Dad with his guitar on the couch, which they love to do as well. They'll get the pots and pans out and that kind of thing. But I think just meeting them where they're at and joining in and being part of it. I think so. And I think it's important to note that it's not always doesn't always look the same. It's not always in a congregational field and with people that are full on, eyes closed, hands raised, all that. Like that's an important part. I mean, I love it. But sometimes it is just Dad jamming on the couch and maybe start to sing something small and just a little prayer here just before we rock up at school. It's all part of worship and communicating with God. Cool. Great. We have lost all your comments again. I'm so sorry. That entire time we can't see anything that's going on. So we'll just soldier on. But we know you're writing lots of really wonderful
like every time I touch it happens.
It's like it just freezes. Coming back. I want to be like Finn. Oh, yes. He's a pretty cute kid. He's happy at the moment because Adelaide have won 2 games in a row. So he's what? So Aaron and Jess Bienenfeld are looking after them for us tonight because they're just total champions. And Finn was so excited that Aaron was coming over because his team beat Aaron's last night. The Hawks, which doesn't take much to be honest, but that's a different story. Coming from, Adelaide. They haven't won a game. Bit of a surprise. Okay, anyway, before we move on to the next question, I thought it would be nice to have a bit of a chat about something that's coming up. Do you think? No. I think that'd be really cool. Just to break it up. Why not? Something exciting that's happening. It's actually this coming Monday. I think Kathryn, you know a lot about this. So you take if you are a parent at Abundant Life, you will have already received a text from Isaac and I last week saying that we were really keen to host Steve Biddulph doing his talk for Raising Boys. And this is going to be a virtual seminar, so we'll be streaming into a live broadcast. And it's next Monday night at church. We're going to be here from 7:30. We're going to have supper and tea and coffee. And we are so highly recommending that mums and dads, parents-to-be, grandparents, aunties, uncles, whoever you are, if you've got little men in your life, this is something that you should definitely make an effort to be here for. And not just little, because they're small, but younger babies. Younger people. It's going to be so good. So if you don't know much about Steve Biddulph, he is an Australian speaker. He is a psychologist and author as well. He's sold over 4 million copies, and his tips for raising boys and girls are just remarkable. So we will be hosting his girls talk as well next month, so we can give you some more info about that. But for next Monday, if you would like to come along and you are not already on our text list, please send us an email to info@abundant.org.au, and we will be sure to send you through the link so that you can register to join us. Otherwise, if you are part of our Abundant families, we'll send you that link later tonight as well, so that you can hit register and come along and join us on Monday night. Do you want to tell us a bit about what's involved in the seminar? Yeah,
that's right. So I've just got some things here to read out that Steve's actually sent through. It's a bit of a prelude.
Some topics he'll be covering.
Some topics that he'll be covering. So he's written, we all want our boys to grow up happy, caring and safe. Come and hear about how this can be done. So the topics that will be included are the 3 stages of boyhood, keeping the special qualities of boys, the importance of dads, why boys love rough and tumble games. Absolutely. What to do if you're a single mum, and boys and housework. Not an oxymoron there, that is true. He will be speaking on that. Just here, Steve Biddulph's talks are world famous for their humour, honesty and powerful stories. And he's got a whole bunch of books here, sold over 4 million copies around the world. So we're very blessed to have and privileged to have this opportunity to listen to Steve. I know personally I'm going to get heaps out of it. As a dad, but obviously for mums as well. And I think as a community, I think we have a lot of young boys and young girls just around in and out of the church. And, we all know, have families and friends that have young boys, and it's just so good to be able to understand where they're at and maybe why they're behaving the way they're behaving, what we can do as part of that, rather than just stand from a distance and judge, because that could be an easy thing to do sometimes. That's exciting. I'm really pumped for that. So did we mention supper?
Yes. So come and join us for supper.
Boom, boom, boom.
And coffee and tea from 7:30.
7:30 for 8 start.
Yeah.
Be there at 7:30.
Be there at 7:30.
Or I will eat all your supper. Pumped.
Cool.
And we have heard from a lot of people that are absolutely keen to come to that.
Yep.
So we've already got a fair chunk of people coming. I was going to say heaps.
You were going to oversell it for a second. It's going to be packed. 200 people. No.
Still safe. Okay. Another question. How best? I don't know if this question's correct grammar, but anyway,
let's not judge.
It's just the teacher coming out at me. How can parents best support other parents? Cool. How can parents best support other parents? It's a good one.
It's a good one. It is a good one. So this is also something we're pretty passionate about.
Yes. Being family pastors, I guess it would be important. Yeah.
A couple of months ago, we actually launched a new initiative within our younger church families called Family of the Week. With the sole purpose of this being to uplift and encourage other parents from parents. Yep. So we just really see this as an invaluable opportunity. We are surrounded by other people that are in the trenches with their kids every day, just like we are. And we have an opportunity to pour blessing and life into their homes as well, you know, and that could be a literal gift and blessing, or it could just be being a spiritual support. We could be praying for these people. We could be sending them encouraging texts. We could be checking in and saying, you know what, when my kid was that age, I found this bit really hard too. Just be real, just be honest and be available. I think, we have a lot of, mum group sort of scenarios. Usually when a mum comes home from hospital with her baby, the midwives set her up with a mother's group, which is amazing and important so that she can be surrounded by other women that are journeying in that same spot as her. But you know what? Dads are on a journey too. Yeah. And so guys, you are not off the hook. You have an opportunity to get around your other dad friends. You have an opportunity to speak life into those situations. You have an opportunity to be an encourager, and you have an opportunity to love them. Like it goes both ways, you know.
Yep.
It's not all up to mums, and it's not all up to women supporting women, as wonderful as that is. But you know what? It's families supporting families as well.
Yep.
Why don't we check in with each other more
Yeah.
and say, what can I be praying for you for this week? Can I join with you in this? This is really important to me, and I'm going to make this a priority.
Yeah.
I'm super praying for Sophie Madden for this week, or I'm super praying for Michael Robinson to sleep this week. You know
Yeah.
what? There's so many opportunities where we can be joining together with our parents, and I think, I could talk about that for a long time.
You could. That wasn't an awkward silence at all. No, but I totally agree with everything you've said there. And I did have a thought. And it was, sometimes just telling each other how we're going is really important. I think the biggest, a lot of issues can arise from just keeping things inside. And I think something that the devil does is he just but encourages almost to not speak out, just to keep it all in.
Yeah.
Because maybe we're struggling with something with the kids, or maybe we're struggling with something with a partner, and we just feel like, if I tell someone, far out, like, that's pretty bad. Like, what are they going to think? And I think that's actually, opposite to what Jesus tells us to do with our own, Heavenly Father, to confess and to tell Him how we're feeling and to tell God how we're going. And even though, He knows, but He still asks us to confess and to tell Him. So I think it's important to us to be able to tell each other how we're going as well. Because when we do that, we've got a pretty awesome group of people here. Like, no one's going to just hound you for being open and honest and raw. We'll support you in that. So, I think that's really important. I think, anyway, and it can just be the most small thing sometimes can leave the biggest impact.
Yeah, that's it.
And even sometimes the things that people don't even know.
And you know what? It plants a seed as well.
Yep.
Sometimes we meet somebody just where they're at, and that encourages them to do that same in return for somebody else. So it's this knock-on effect.
Yep. So we're just going, every now and then we're just coming up to see if there's any extra.
If you flip that way and then back again.
Absolute superstar.
Look at that. We can see you all just for a second.
We can see like 3 comments at a time. Yeah, that's all right. I put this one in, and I haven't shown Kathryn this one.
Oh,
so this is going to be...
Here we go.
There we go. Okay, cool. How do you... I don't even know if I've answered this question before, so it might be. How do you find rest being a parent? How do you find rest being a parent?
Like, how do I find time for it? Or what do I do?
Both. All of the above. What does rest look like for a parent with 3... Oh, you've got 3 kids, but there's others. 1 kid, 2 kid, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids.
I think it comes down to personal choice. Some people wind down in different ways. I think the way I find rest is being on the same page with my husband and being able to be honest with one another.
Yep.
We're in a really good place where we can allow one another time out when it's needed.
Yep.
There were times where that wasn't so comfortable, I can say.
Yep.
I think when Finley was a baby, the first 18 months of his life were probably one of the hardest times of my life because I had 0 rest, and we weren't on the same playing field then. We weren't working as well together and cohesively as we could have, and so we both were lacking rest and lacking luster. We weren't working together so well. Whereas now we're really good at feeding and being intuitive.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and so I think being well supported helps open up opportunities for rest. But if I think of literal ways that I personally like to rest, that would be lying down and napping. I really love a Sunday arvo nap, preferably with some sunshine on my body somewhere. And I like to read.
Months. Yeah.
I like to
reading
as well.
And that's what I mean. Reading is something that I see the idea, and I've brought a few books recently, and have read books in the last sort of 6 months. I've got a book about this thick, and I think Charlie's could have beat me by now by the book that I'm reading.
You haven't got far.
And so for me, that's probably not a restful thing. For you, it is.
Yeah.
For
just
me,
gives me a zone out. I get to escape the chaos for a moment and be somewhere else.
Yeah. For me, it would be... it has been the guitar in the last few years, or, that sort of hobby. I know, play golf, and, Jess, and there's a few others that will enjoy a round of golf, and Aaron and co. Watching a game of footy, just love it. And I think it's really important to know
I don't know how watching a game of footy really gives you any rest, because you're like hollering and jumping up out of your seat and everything. Like,
Well, come grand final day, it wasn't very restful, but sitting down enjoying a night of football is always nice. But anyway, I just thought I guess the reason I asked that is because we all have different actual ways that we can rest,
Yeah.
and it may look different.
I think the important thing is actually making it a priority,
Yes.
making sure that you are caring for you, making sure that you are caring for your wife or your husband and saying, you know what, you're feeling all right today, or you're doing okay this week. How can I help? How can we work together so that we can both feel better?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. That's great. It's awesome. So, pardon me, we do have another question here. Any tips on how to establish prayer? I've got like something stuck in my chest right now. Any tips on how to establish prayer for our kids? Any tips on how to establish prayer for our kids? Do you like how I just asked that twice to give Kathryn extra time to think?
Yeah. So I think the context for this question is from a parent's perspective, how can we be praying for our kids? We talked last time about how we can be encouraging our kids to be praying themselves and to establish that prayer life.
Yep.
So praying for our kids. So some friends of ours actually, they have designated a day of the week for a child in their family.
Yeah, like Timmy Tuesday or Wayne Wednesday, things like that.
Yeah, Wayne Wednesday.
Wayne.
But so their kids are now full grown and they've got families of their own. So they now have this time each day that is set aside to actually be praying intentionally into their child's life and their family and their kids, which we thought was so super cool. And there is absolutely no reason why we couldn't be doing that right now. It's not to say that you don't pray for, well, I'm sorry, Finley, I can't pray for you today because it's Charlie Day.
It's not Finley Friday yet. It's Charlie Tuesday.
Okay, but we thought that was just really cool. It's like almost like beginner prayer, like just really cool way just to remind yourself and keep yourself on track. And I thought the cool thing about it too, I mean, we've only got 3 kids. That leaves us a few spare days where we could be praying for someone else's kid. Wow. You know what I mean? Like we have our goddaughter, we could be designating a day for her. We could be praying into people who we play a key part in their lives. We've got some pseudo nephews and nieces that we love. And so we have this opportunity where we can actually be praying for all of them. So I think what we could be doing is also requesting prayer too. So it's not all on us to be holding up our kids. You know, we've got grandparents and they've got aunties and uncles that we can be leaning on as well. We've got amazing friends around us that we can be leaning on when we're going through tough stuff with our kids. Can you be praying for Finley? He's going in for surgery next week for his tonsils. It's not really, it's already happened. But that's an example, like we're really blessed that we're able to do that.
I think there's just the practicality of that. Like I know, being brought up in a Christian environment, from basically birth. For me, prayer has always been a bit of all right, I know I can pray whenever, but because I know I can pray whenever, then I never really sit down and pray. I just maybe pray as I'm doing other things, whereas actually sitting down and intentionally praying and having that, it might be the day for the kid, or it might be, I don't know, it might be a special time that you set aside a day. It could be that. So I think for me, establishing prayer, and then also, doing that for our own kids. We do pray, bedtime and that sort of thing. But if they're seeing that we are actually intentionally doing that as well, and I actually think that's important. I know that this family that we talk, like, it can be something that we do when the kids go to bed or when the kids don't even know. But I actually think it's important to say to the kids, hey, we're going to have some praying time now. Yeah. Like, keep it down. Or come in and join us. But generally keep it down. Yeah. Like, because we're gonna spend some time. Like, I think that's important for them to say, wait a minute, what are mum and dad, why are they doing that for?
And again, it comes back to that modelled behaviour. Like, modelling this heart for worship comes down to that as well with prayer. I know for myself, when I'd been unwell for a couple of weeks back, our youngest Teddy, he's nearly 3, the amount of times he came over and says, Mum, I want to pray for your hip. Yeah. And he comes and touches my hip and prays for it, and then I'm going to kiss it better now, and he kisses it. But, he keeps in, and his prayers are the simplest things. Yeah. Dear Jesus, I pray Mum's hip better. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. That's all it is. Yeah. And it's just melts your heart. But that's been modelled for him. when they fall over and they graze their knees or they're upset or something, you're like, let's pray together. You know, let's pray about this. Let's ask Jesus to help you with this, or let's ask Jesus to help this feel better.
Yep.
And they're returning the favour, and it's the sweetest little thing.
And they love it when God answers the prayer.
Yeah.
And I mean, he does. He always answers it. Sometimes it might not be the way they expect, but if they pray for healing and then they notice that mum's actually feeling better,
yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, far out. God's good, you know, like they just get it. They just have faith like little kids. It's almost like Jesus talked about that in the Bible. But yeah, it's gold.
It's a really cool tool using as we teach our kids about empathy as well, I think. Because that is something that is teachable and learned as well. You know, we encourage our kids to care for other people.
Yep.
And when I was feeling unwell with my hip, picked Charlie up from school one day, and the first thing she said to me, because I was obviously standing up and picking her up, and so that was really cool for her, and she goes, "Mum, how's your hip today? Is it feeling better?" You know, and normally she's running up and, "I did this and this is what happened," and blah blah blah. It's crazy, all about her and her day. But this was, you know what, Mum, how's your hip?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? It's actually feeling really, really good at the moment.
Yeah.
It's feeling better. She said, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
We did pray for that, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I mean, I'm just looking at the time when we are getting
Cool.
there. So
I think that was our last question.
that was our last question anyway.
Unless somebody's popped one up. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
We are like just missing everything tonight. We can't see anything that's happening, but it's all good. We can come back and have a look at those later. But
yeah. So we have tomorrow night, Living What I've Learned at 7:00 here on Facebook, and we have our service. So we have online at 9:00. So hop online, and you should hopefully see something in the comments soon about registration.
That's for our in-person, which is at 10:30 here at 490 South Arm.
But online as well at 9, and yeah, registers are coming out. So that's really exciting. I had a thought.
What?
I can't remember what it was.
Was it to remind them all that if you want to come to Steve Bidoff Raising Boys, just send us an email.
Yep, absolutely.
At info@abundant.org.au, and we can hit you up with the link to register for that as well. So that is this Monday coming at 7:30 p.m. and we can't wait to have as many parents to be, and grandparents, whoever wants to come and experience that. I'm so sorry. I just got a text message. My bad. That must be Matt texting us. Wrap it up.
Yeah, that's right. It is. It probably is.
All right.
Cool.
Well, that's it from us tonight.
Yeah, awesome.
Anyway, thanks for joining us online, guys.
Yeah.
And again. And we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Go and love somebody.
Go and do it. Go and love them.